Dr. R. Sugurat Samuel is working as professor in physics in SRM University, Chennai. He is also training students for IIT JEE, AIEEE, and BITSAT. He has more than 16 years of academic experience both in teaching and research. He has published a book titled The Complete Handbook of Bachelor of Electronic Science Practicals. It is prescribed book in the syllabus for BSc Electronic Science by University of Madras. He has attended and presented papers in several national and international conferences and conducted many training programs and workshops. He has experience in both regular classroom teaching and also online teaching. His research areas are ultrasonics, polymers, crystal growth, and photovoltaic systems.
Welcome to UGC lecture series on Applied Sciences Electronics. We have been listening to a series of lectures for the course BSc Electronic Science, Semester 1, Paper 1, Electricity and Basic Electronics. This is the 33rd lecture in the series. In this session, we are going to see the need for voltage regulation and a topic, breakdown mechanisms in diodes, under which two breakdown mechanisms, avalanche breakdown and Zener breakdown, then Zener diode and the Zener diode's characteristics. To start with, what is the need for voltage regulation, or what is the meaning of voltage regulation? In the previous lecture, we have seen how the ripples are removed from a rectified voltage using the capacitor and resistor circuit. After it is done so, still the voltage is to be regulated. Initially, the voltage was rectified using diode rectifiers, and then the ripples were removed using a filter circuit, and now we come into the concept called regulation. What is the meaning of regulation? Let us see the definition and the need for regulation. Even though a ripple free and smooth DC voltage is obtained using filter circuits, steady DC output voltage from a rectifier is not constant due to the following reasons. The first reason is, as the voltage varies, the DC output voltage is not constant. That is, as the current drawn from the rectifier increases, the output voltage decreases and vice versa. The variation of DC output voltage as a function of DC load current is called regulation, and the amount of regulation is measured using a technical term called percentage of regulation, and this is the equation for percentage of regulation. It is a ratio. In the numerator we have the voltage without load minus voltage with load divided by voltage with load, and when we convert this into percentage, we have to multiply with 100. And the second reason is, the DC output voltage also varies as the 8C input voltage to the rectifier. The line voltage from AC power, say 230 volt, may not be a constant and may vary from 200 volt to 240 volt. Hence, the DC output voltage will also vary. To understand these 2 points, let us consider a power supply which has to give a steady voltage as the output. But after the ripples are removed using filter circuits, is the output voltage constant? The 2 points right now we have seen says it may not be constant due to the 2 reasons we stated just now. The first one says, first point emphasizes the output voltage varies on the load resistance that we connect across the output. and it is mentioned as the output load varies, the current through the load also varies, and thus the product of current and resistance gives us the voltage. So, that might also vary. So, it is very much dependent on the load resistance that we connect across the output terminals. The second reason is even the input that is given to the power supply, if it varies, the output will obviously vary. So, these are the two reasons which make the regulation of the output voltage as a necessary one. So, what do we have to do to maintain the output voltage remain constant? We need to regulate it. In simple terms, if you want to say, we need to regulate the voltage that is taken from the output. So, rectification is one part, removing the ripples using filter is second part, and the third part is regulation. So, the third operation or third stage in the construction of power supply is the regulation. What do we have to do to get a regulated output? We need to depend on some electrical circuits. Let us see what are the methods on which we depend to have a regulated output. To overcome these difficulties, some electronic devices are used as regulators. They are used along with the rectifier and filter circuits. They are called regulated power supplies. There is a phenomenon called breakdown mechanism in diodes. This mechanism is used for the regulation. As I mentioned, an electronic device is used in the electrical circuit so that the regulation is obtained. To get the regulation, we depend on a phenomenon which we have already seen in the earlier lectures under the topics of diode. It is called a breakdown mechanism. What is a breakdown? Breakdown mechanism means the diode, when it is connected in the reverse bias condition, it can withstand up to a particular voltage. It will not conduct electric current in the reverse biased condition. But if we keep on increasing the voltage beyond a particular value in the reverse biased condition, the depletion layer that is appearing between the P and N region will keep widening. At one point, there will be a physical damage. This is what we have learnt in the concepts related to ordinary PN junction diode. There are some special diodes which could withstand high reverse voltages, and at that point the phenomenon called breakdown occurs. Here the breakdown technically means the generation of large number of electrons and hole pairs in the semiconductor device, in the P and N region or in the depletion region inclusive, and this is called breakdown. There are two ways by which we get the breakdown. Let us see what are the two methods of obtaining the breakdown. There are two mechanisms which give rise to the breakdown of a PN junction under reverse bias condition. The first breakdown is called avalanche breakdown and the second one is called Zener breakdown. Avalanche breakdown: when both the sides of the PN junction are lightly doped and the depletion layer becomes large. The electric field across the depletion layer is not so strong. The minority carriers accelerated by the field collide with the semiconductor atoms in the crystal. Because of this collision with valence electrons, covalent bonds are broken and electron hole pairs are generated. In the case of avalanche breakdown, the material is lightly doped, and because of that the depletion layer has an electric field which is comparatively very weak, because the depletion layer is very wide. So, the thickness is large in the case of the avalanche breakdown mechanism. So, as the applied voltage, the reverse bias voltage is applied across a wider depletion layer, the electric field is obviously very weak. And because of this, if an electron which just moves because of this weak electric field, because of the large space available in the depletion layer, it might collide with the atoms which do not participate in the conduction of electricity through the p-n junction, and that will indeed break the covalent bond, and that releases an electron from the bond which is participating in the covalent bond. Thus, a whole electron pair is generated, and what will happen further? These released electrons will further move and collide with other atoms and release electrons, and thus holes are generated, and this will continue, and at one stage there will be large number of electron hole pairs generated in the depletion layer, and it is equivalent to avalanche that normally happens in the snowfall region. Small part of the snow will start sliding and it will gather huge mass. At one stage the mass will become very large, and that we call as avalanche sliding. The same kind of scenario is found here. Few electrons collide with few atoms and release electrons, and holes are generated that multiplies, and at one stage it becomes a huge number, and that is why the name avalanche is given to it. These charge carriers acquire energy from the applied potential and in turn produce more and more carriers. This cumulative process is called avalanche multiplication, and the breakdown is called avalanche breakdown. And we will see the application of the avalanche breakdown after we learn one more breakdown called Zener breakdown. Now we will see what is Zener breakdown. When both the sides of p-n junction are heavily doped, the depletion layer is narrow. For a small reverse bias, a very strong electric field is developed across the thin depletion layer. This breaks the covalent bonds. Large number of electron hole pairs are produced, which give rise to the reverse saturation current, which is also called Zener current. The Zener current is independent of the applied voltage. In the case of Zener breakdown, just the opposite of avalanche is happening, though the end result is the same. In the case of Zener, the two regions are heavily doped. Because of that, the depletion layer is found to be very thin, and there are some quantum mechanical reasons for the decrease in the thickness when the doping concentration is very high. We are not going to discuss all those reasons at this stage, but we take it as a fact. And because of the very thin region that is formed, for the applied reverse potential, the electric field seems to be very high in the small gap, and that plucks out the electrons. Actually, it is said released, but literally the electric field pulls out the electrons which are participating in the covalent bond formation. Thus, large number of electron hole pairs are generated. Comparing to the avalanche, in the case of Zener, the process of collision is not happening. It is directly plucked out by the electric field, very high electric field that is applied in the depletion layer. And because of that, the same result we get, that is a huge or a large number of electron hole pairs generated in the depletion layer. And what is the advantage of having such a large number of electron hole pairs in the reverse biased condition? The current will be tremendous through the diode. A huge current will start flowing in the diode in the reverse biased condition. And is there any application? There is an application that is very relevant to the voltage regulation. We will see that after a short break. Welcome back. Now, we will compare the avalanche breakdown and the Zener breakdown in this comparison table that we have formed. And here the effects are mentioned, and in this column the avalanche breakdown and in this column Zener breakdown are highlighted. The doping of material is very light in the case of avalanche, and in Zener it is very heavy, and because of that the thickness of depletion layer is very broad in avalanche breakdown, but it is very thin in the Zener breakdown. The order is in the micron 10 to the power minus 6 meter, or it is just few microns in thickness. And when we take the electric field, it is very weak in the case of avalanche breakdown, but in the case of Zener breakdown it is very strong. It is even to the order of a million 10 to the power 6 volt per meter. And the mechanism of breaking covalent bonds, it is due to the collision of minority carriers, and in the case of Zener it is the very strong electric field which pulls out the electrons to take part in the conduction of electricity. So, these are the two breakdown mechanisms which produces large current through the diode in the reverse biased condition. It is something to wonder with, because when we learnt about the ordinary diodes in the beginning, in the reverse bias an ideal diode cannot conduct electricity. This is what we have learnt. But here in the breakdown mechanism, even in the reverse bias condition, because of the two types of breakdown that we have right now learnt, the avalanche breakdown and Zener breakdown, the diode can conduct electricity even in the reverse bias condition, but it is a huge value of current that is flowing in the reverse bias condition. What is the application part of it? That we will see now. In the case of Zener diode, in the reverse biased heavily doped semiconductor, silicon or germanium PN junction diode, which is operated exclusively in the breakdown region. The symbol for Zener diode is shown in the diagram. It is like an ordinary diode, but there are two extended lines shown on the vertical line that we normally we use to represent the N region. The triangle represents the P region and the line represents the N region, and we have the two extended lines as shown here. The forward characteristics of Zener diode is similar to a normal PN junction diode. Only in the case of reverse biased condition, the Zener diode has a different behavior compared to an ordinary PN junction diode. There are some precautions that we have to take when we use Zener diode in the reverse biased condition. It is not that we can apply any voltage across the diode in the reverse bias condition, especially for Zener, because a huge amount of current is flowing through the Zener in the reverse bias condition due to the Zener breakdown. Tremendous heat will also be generated in the diode in the reverse biased condition. So, this heat has to be properly dissipated to the surrounding. If it is not done so, the heat will increase the temperature of the diode. At one point, a physical damage or burning might happen to the Zener diode. So, in the design stage itself, the precaution is to be followed for manufacturing the Zener diode to have a proper thermal conduction around the PN junction, and also the material should withstand large amount of heat. So, these are the precautions to be taken while designing Zener diode. This will be taken care of by the fabricators who do the designing of the electronic materials. Now, we will see further the characteristics of Zener diode. For safe operation of Zener diode in the breakdown region, the current through the diode should be limited by an external circuit. Hence, the power dissipated across the junction is within its power handling capacity. Unless this precaution is observed, a large current will destroy the diode. The IV characteristic curve of the Zener diode is shown below, and this is the current voltage, or shortly called as IV characteristics of a Zener diode. In the forward bias condition, when we look at the trend of the curve, it is similar, very similar to the ordinary PN junction diode. But in the reverse bias condition, ordinary PN junction diode will have just a reverse saturation current which flows in the reverse bias condition, which is also saturated, it will not increase. But in the specially designed Zener diode, at one particular voltage called VZ, or it is called Zener voltage or breakdown voltage, a huge current flows in the reverse bias condition. So, from the figure, as the reverse voltage applied to the PN junction is increased at a particular voltage, the current increases enormously from this normal cutoff voltage, keeping the voltage constant. This voltage is called Zener voltage or breakdown voltage. This Zener voltage is the characteristics of the Zener diode. It is designed to have a particular value of VZ. If you want to have a regulated power supply of say 5 volt, then we need to use a Zener diode which has a breakdown around the 5 volt value or slightly greater than that of 5 volt value. And we have specially made Zener diodes which could have the breakdown voltage at 9 volt, 12 volt, etc. But every time we should take care of the important point, that is the current is to be limited by some external resistance. As I have already mentioned, in the reverse bias condition, a huge current is likely to flow through the diode. Due to that, heat is likely to get generated, and the design stage itself, all these precautions are to be taken into consideration. And apart from the design part, externally also we can connect a resistor which limits the current that is flowing through the Zener diode. That is called a safety resistance, which is connected normally in series with the Zener diode. So, this phenomenon of breakdown is a very important, it is got a very important application for voltage regulation. Let us see further what other things we need to keep in mind as far as the voltage regulation is concerned. This property of the Zener diode is used for regulating the supply voltages so that they are constant. Thus, a Zener diode working in the breakdown region can act as a voltage regulator. To maintain a constant voltage across the load, even if the input voltage or load current varies, the voltage regulation is to be made. In the beginning of this lecture, we started off with this question: what is voltage regulation? And in the due course, we have learnt what is the reason we need to have a regulated voltage, because when we have a power supply, it should maintain the output voltage constant. For that, we used two breakdown mechanisms that normally happen in the diodes in the reverse bias condition: avalanche breakdown and Zener breakdown. And we have taken the Zener breakdown for our discussion, and a special diode is made to have this as a property in it, that is the Zener diode, and the characteristics of Zener diode also we have learnt, and what are the precautions to be followed when we use Zener diode in the reverse bias condition, both at the design stage and also at the external circuit stage. We have seen these points. The main reason for such a voltage regulation to be done for a regulated power supply is any variation that happens in the output will affect the circuit to which this power supply supplies the current, and this has to be taken into account, and that depends on lots of factors. The first thing is the amount of ripple that is present in the output, and also the variation in the voltage that normally happens due to two reasons. One is the load that is connected across the output, and also the input voltage that is altogether given to the regulated power supply. So, there are three stages very much to be considered as far as the design of a regulated power supply is concerned. The first one is the efficiency of the rectifiers that we use in the power supply. We have seen few rectifiers like off wave, full wave and bridge rectifier. The efficient one is the full wave rectifier, and even in that also the 4 diode bridge rectifier is having the greater efficiency compared to the other rectifiers, and it has got other advantages. So, the first point is a good rectifier is to be chosen for the designing of a regulated power supply, and the second one is removing the ripple from the rectifier, for which we need to use a good filter circuit which makes use of a resistance and a capacitance combination that in detail we have seen in the last lecture. Higher the value of capacitance, greater is the efficiency we have at the filtering, and the charging discharging mechanism of a capacitor was used for removing the ripples. And now the third stage, which is the regulation. Normally the regulation is not too much considered. We give much importance to the rectification and then the filtering aspect, but the regulation is also very important as far as the designing of a regulated power supply is concerned. And in the case of regulated power supply, the voltage regulation is done using the electronic device, and for our discussion we have taken the Zener diode. But nowadays we normally do not depend on the Zener regulation, but we go for the IC regulated power supplies. In the case of IC regulated power supply, we have specially designed IC chips which does the regulation. We will have input terminal and output terminal and a common terminal for the IC chips, and those IC chips are capable of maintaining the output constant. And there are other higher order techniques which we use for the voltage regulation, like servo mechanism and other sophisticated mechanisms. But to understand all that, the Zener method gives us the base. So, in this lecture we have seen how a Zener diode could be used for the purpose of voltage regulation. Let us see the session summary of this lecture. In this session we have seen the need for voltage regulation, the breakdown mechanism in diodes, namely avalanche breakdown and Zener breakdown, and about Zener diode and the characteristics of Zener diode. Before we end this session, let us test our understanding by answering these questions. What is the need for regulation of voltage? Explain the two breakdown mechanisms in the diodes and compare them. Discuss the characteristics of Zener diode and state why it is used for voltage regulation. We will see how this diode is used as a circuit element in regulating the voltage in the forthcoming sessions. And with this, we end this session. Thank you.